What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Locked on Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. The Sharks fell 5-2 to the Coyotes, so good for Tank. But the kids played pretty well. Good for us. But then also there was only 2 lines available to the Sharks tonight. Bad for future development. This may also be a Dakota-heavy podcast. She is being an asshole.
Ouch.
You're Locked on Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks. Part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day.
She's not that annoying. She just times her water drinking antics at the worst possible spots. But I'm your host, Kyle Demetrius. Back with me as always is co-host JD, the principal Skinner to my Mo.
That's an odd combination.
Well, I called an audible when I was doing it. I didn't actually mean to say Mo. I meant to say Chief Wiggum. I'll save it for next time. I also debated Mayor Quimby. Mayor Quimby's funny. A very underutilized character back in the golden seasons. I don't know what they're doing now.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite secondary character?
Duffman is always a favorite of mine. Do enjoy Duffman.
You said if I slept with you, I wouldn't have to touch the drunk. Duffman says a lot of things.
Yeah, Duffman's definitely a favorite secondary character of mine. So.
Wow. I'm a little secret fun fact about me. My favorite secondary character is Kirk Van Houten.
He's a good one too.
He's so funny. He's so pathetic. You said you wouldn't laugh, but I already did laugh. This is Starla.
It's a big player down at the sewing factory.
Oh, that's Jerry. He's a major player down at the sewing store. Like, can we get the lunch schedule ahead of time? Because I don't like the idea of Milhouse having 2 spaghetti meals in one day.
Yeah.
Just an elite secondary character. Good old Kirk. He's just so sad. He's a big wheel down at the Cracker Factory.
R.I.P. the big wheel down at the Cracker Factory.
Man, I don't even want to know what they're doing with these characters now. But anyway,
I haven't watched in years. Yeah,
years.
The
Sharks. They lost 5-2, but they took 42 shots. This now. I'm just going to say this, and if somebody wants to fact check us, go ahead. Throw your life away. But I think this is the first time in like 2 months that they've had double-digit shots in every period.
It feels like it.
They went 11, 12, 19. Now, obviously score effects. Like they were down, or they were tied 1-1. They're actually up. Then they were down 2-1. They were tied 2-2 heading into the third. And then they were down 1 after 7 minutes. So it's not like they were super down, but they actually took some shots. They had a lot of iron.
A lot of iron tonight. Yeah.
And they also relied on 2 lines. That's it.
Yes. Yeah, it was. I mean, this is what we want to see against a bad team, and the Coyotes are a bad team, and you want to see them have this, kind of extended offensive zone time and getting good shots. And, it wasn't just like shooting just to shoot. They had very high quality shots as well. According to our friends over at Natural Stat Trick, the Sharks expected goals for and 5-on-5, 3.79. So they should have had almost 4 goals, but they got 1 at 5-on-5.
Is that bad?
That's bad. That's just bad. That's bad luck, And of course, it's expected goals are great, but at some point you actually have to turn them into real goals. That's where, but Hurdle hits the iron twice, and then Couture hits the iron on a breakaway, and it's just like, just wasn't your night. And then, the Coyotes gave it to him. Anytime the Sharks made a mistake, they pounced, Burns.
Anytime you got to be careful of Yanis Yannick, you got a game plan.
4 goals in 7 games, all against the Sharks. Good for him.
Seriously?
Yes. He's the new Sharks killer. So he took the crown from Phil Kessel. So
the roster of people that got goals and points against the Sharks tonight is absolutely horrid. Nick Ritchie from Nick Schmaltz and Anton Strawman. If you didn't know Anton Strawman was still in the league, that's okay. Yannick from Phil Kessel. Yannick from Strawman and Kessel. Barrett Hayton from T. Boyd. And then Nick Schmaltz unassisted. None of those guys are particularly great. Nick Schmaltz has been on a little bit of a heater, but like none of those guys are good.
Yeah, and and the Hayden one where it was just Timo stuck in his zone, he's trying to make a play, and he just gets his pocket picked, and poor Reimer's got nothing. And
also,
yeah,
I don't want to see any Merkley slander.
No,
because he lost an edge.
No,
that happens all the time.
Yes.
Did Bob bench him after that?
No, Merkley played well. He played, yeah.
Well, he's played well before, and then
he played a lot, so he continued to play. So, yeah, Merkley had his 16 minutes or so. Got plenty of shifts.
16-11. Why can't we bump that up? Especially when he's balling and they need goals. Why can't we boost that up? Like, let me see.
But I mean, actually, all the defensemen are actually pretty even. Like Burns only
played 16. Magna played 21-39.
I mean, he's the top pairing with Burns, Nick
Malash played 19 minutes. Can't you just carve off 3 or 4 minutes from him and give them to Merkley?
You guess, but
Nick Malash has not been that great.
Yeah,
for weeks now.
Bob was just praising him today, though, so that he's not getting benched. Yeah, I mean, it's the defense. Like the defense minutes are fine. It wasn't like Brett Burns. We wanted to see Brett Burns play like 22 minutes, and he's played like that recently, which is good. And he's not playing 30 minutes a night for no reason right now. So,
that's good. I just think you can get Merkley more minutes, especially when he's had his like 2 or 3 best games as a pro in a row. The season's lost, and you can get him some more time.
Yeah,
throw him out there, get him some high leverage situations, see what happens.
Yeah, and I mean, I agree with you. It was just it's not like the minutes were crazy, like spread out. They were, they were pretty close to consistent.
But we can always be better.
They could always be better. So, yeah, I mean, it was, the Merkley thing, it sucked, but at least he saved a goal, literally saved a goal as like 5 minutes later.
He was so good tonight.
It was very good. And I don't know how many, it seemed my new favorite thing of his is like when he's like at the point and he looks like he's going to take a shot and he does a little slap pass to the guy in the slot and nobody knows it's coming. And like he had Sasha just wide open there and Sasha didn't expect it. And, and it's like when he starts getting that chemistry with guys and that starts to click, but he gets it at least once a game, he gets that thing off and it's great.
You'd think that he would have chemistry with Sasha, seeing so they played in the Cuda for a while together.
They would, but it's like,
also,
I don't think
everybody should know that it's happening because they have Eric effing Carlson on the team who does the exact same thing. Remember when Carlson got traded and we were doing the podcast and we were like, nobody's ready for an Eric Carlson pass? And they still aren't. They just got to transfer that over to Ryan Merkley. He does the same things.
He does the same thing.
Ryan, watching Merkley is an absolute treat. And
I can watch him on my other favorite thing is him on the power play when he just creates a new angle.
Oh my God, he just like breaks some dude's ankles or just like goes around.
I could just watch that all day long. Just put that on a loop for me.
If him and Vlasic are not that bad and it like extends, you get a little something out of Vlasic. I mean, extend Vlasic out so he's not a complete black hole. Like Vlasic, like maybe Vlasic just needs a young guy to become a mentor to him, and Vlasic just plays complete defense and doesn't worry about anything else.
Yep.
And maybe that's a way to get a little blood from the stone.
Yeah,
get a little bit of juice, but like I don't think so. But like it's kind of working.
It's been working right now, so you might as well just ride it until it stops working, and then you can figure it out going into next season. So, especially when you have, Ferraro somehow is. I think Ferraro's Wolverine because he's going to be back apparently like next week, which is insane to me. But yeah, and then if Knyzhov gets back to being healthy, and then like you're going to have some options on the left side. But before we get into what all the people are waiting for, which is us breaking down the Scott Reedy, John Leonard, Ryan Merkley goal. Let's take a quick break and talk to our friends over at Bet Online as Kyle takes his pants off to get ready. After months of playing, college basketball is determined as the top teams in the Final Four will be determined this year's national champion in this weekend. So BetOnline is your number one source for all your sports betting needs and sports info. For all the latest odds, contests, and player props, you name it. I put $5 down on Phil Kessel to score tonight. It did not go through, but at plus 300 odds, they were very tasty. So BetOnline remains the best spot for all your latest sports developments, including podcasts, excluding this one, and reviews for all the leagues this season. And it's not just basketball. BetOnline is your continued source for your sporting wager needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino games. So head to their website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in action. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Okay, I've got the video. That's what I was doing. I wasn't taking my pants off. They're already off. We're gonna break this down frame by frame as we go on here. So they're on the power play. We're gonna set the stage. This is everything we have ever dreamed of in life.
This PP2 was glorious, except for Nick Bonino. But like the power play 2 of just children running around trying to figure stuff out. Yeah. All right. So what we got? Okay. We got Nick. We got Ryan Merkley.
Some goofball sends it in from the left. There's 13 seconds left in the power play. First period, 7:55 left in the game. Some left-handed goofball sends it in from the left boards up to Merkley at the point. Merkley corrals it, and now he's got a guy in front of him, and he kind of puts on the brakes to like he's gonna shoot. But what he's doing is he changes the angle and slides backwards. So he looks like he's going to step into a wrist shot, and then he just slightly steps on the brakes and transitions into a perfect backward skate, two little wiggles, and then unloads a wrist shot. Excellent. Love it. It gets blocked, though, by Homeboy at the point, and it trickles off in the corner. Nothing happens. Everybody turns around. Also, 94 was the guy that passes. Is that Barabanov?
Yes.
That ball's 94. Who's 43?
John Leonard. You're bad with numbers.
Yeah, I just don't care. Yeah. Goes into the corner. Does Scott Reedy wear 54?
Yes, he does.
Oh, God. So it goes in the corner. Nick Bonino goes and retrieves it. Nick Bonino goes and retrieves it somehow.
Good for him.
Gets it. Sees Merkley just chilling at the point. Fires it back to Merkley. Now Merkley's on the deep right side. Merkley gets it. Walks a little bit on the line, but then stops as the Coyote's going to like think he's going to walk the line. The Coyote goes a little too far. So Merkley just kind of holds up and takes a wrist shot. Fires it in the slot. We get John Leonard tip. Scott Reedy tip. Back of the net. We are deceased.
Yes.
Good shout out to Barabanov did nothing on this.
Good for him.
Just passenger. Nick Bonino, good job retrieving that puck. But Ryan Merkley did all of the work on this power play. 100% of the work.
Hey, Scott Reedy's handsomeness tipped that puck in. It actually wasn't even a stick. It was just the handsomeness. The puck was shocked and went into the back of the net. So, yeah. Scott Reedy also should have drawn another penalty earlier. He had a breakaway too. Gets hooked. The ref, too distracted by how good looking Scott Reedy is, doesn't call the hooking. Scott Reedy can't believe it, but yeah, Reedy he needs to get off the fourth line. It is. I posted the Bugatti and the kind of the outside garage meme, and it's like he is way too good to be on the fourth line with Jeffrey Veal and Lane Peterson, where he's having to carry that entire line.
Remember when Lane Peterson was crushing the AHL, and you're like, well, you got to reward the guys, and then he completely disappeared after one NHL game.
All I said is I was saying that was the coach. I didn't say it was right. I just was saying that was the coach's thinking. But
anyway. you never couched it in this is the wrong decision. You were just like licking those Bob boots, like give me that Lane Peterson.
Noted bootlicker, JD.
Yeah, that's what the D stands for. To boot.
The boot. But yeah, Scott Reedy, he needs to be on the top line. Like he needs to be on the second line.
Give him some skill.
Put him with Couture. I want to see him with Couture for a while because that Couture line didn't do much tonight with Balsers and Gregor. I actually, for some reason, the Sasha Bonino Leonard line works, so I wouldn't touch that.
See, I was gonna say I wouldn't mind seeing Reedy, Sasha, Leonard.
We've had that, and it was beautiful last game with
too beautiful for this world.
It's too beautiful for this world, but the Sasha Leonard combo works, and if Nick Bonino is just the old man, kind of keeping the children at bay, fine. But like, Scott Reedy needs to be given more opportunities.
Swap him with Rudy.
What was that?
Swap him with
swap
Rudy.
with Rudy, swap with Gregor. Either one of those guys, like you can put them on the fourth line. They're going to do their job right, et cetera, et cetera. And then if one of the guys is failing, you can move those guys up. That's what their jobs are.
I'd like to see for the rest of the season Barabanov, Hurdle-Meyer. And then I would like to see Reedy, Couture,
Dahlin, whoever.
I would prefer Dahlin, but like pick a guy.
Yeah.
Then I would like to see Sasha, Leonard, I guess Bonino, because he's going to stay there because that line was fine. And then I would like to see the other two guys out of Dahlin, Gregor, Balsers.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say Gregor and Balsers, and throw them down there with. I'd prefer the Lord,
but yeah,
I don't think we're going to get that. So I guess
I wonder with
Wayne,
because Labanc might be back next week. It looks like he's been practicing. He's getting his final good to go checkout this weekend, and he might be back as early as probably Tuesday next week. So
okay, let's go. Barabanov, Hurdle-Meyer.
That's untouchable. Yes.
Reedy, Couture.
Say Dahlin or Labanc, whoever.
Dahlin. Sasha or Leonard, Bonino, Labanc.
Labanc, yeah.
And then Sasha or Leonard.
Reedy. Or no, Reedy's up on the second line, yeah.
A center, Gregor or Balsers. I think we can safely bench Balsers.
Yeah. He's
right?
been kind of mad.
Like I don't think we need to see Lane ever again. I don't really think we need to see Gadjevich, and I don't think we need to see Veal for the last 15 games. No. Those three guys, we know what they got. I'm comfortable not seeing them again, and I'd rather run out. They're not going to do that. They're going to have Veal or Gadjevich on there. But it just means that you're taking away from Leonard, Gregor, Reedy, Dahlin.
These guys who need
Sasha, the guys that need to be
playing real games and playing real minutes in those games. So yeah, I agree with you. I mean, and Labanc, I know we know who he is, but I think he's got
to get playing.
He's got to get playing, and you want to kind of maybe help to try to, one, boost that confidence going into the end of the season. Two, maybe try to get some sort of trade value if you decide that you want to move off of him this summer. So if he has a nice end to the season, or at least you feel better about him going into next season, where it's like, hey, this isn't, we're not just throwing away $5 million here. He can be a middle six guy, potential second, to an actual real guy instead of just a $5 million kind of tank that he's been this year. So
yeah, I mean, if he's so bad that you can't trade him ever, you got to get some sort of value out of him and figure out what maybe he's a PP specialist on your fourth line, or your third line. You know what I mean?
And it could just, we saw it might just need to get him going. I mean, I don't want to say where it's the Timo thing where the past 2 years Timo was just kind of struggled and couldn't figure it out. And maybe this was just a bad year from Labanc, but we've seen Labanc produce at times, and it'd be nice for him to get back to that producing. But I think he needs to be paired with a good play driving center and let him just snipe, because that's what Labanc's very good at that. So
Kevin Labanc, ice hockey right wing. They can just get rid of the ice hockey. Have we seen him produce? Well, I guess we have. So
yeah, he had almost
20 points. 20 points in 55 games in his rookie season as a 21-year-old. Then he had 40 points in 77 games. Then in 2018-19, he had 56 points in 82
playing
games.
With Joe Thornton.
Yeah, that's sixth season.
Remember the Joe Thornton, Kevin Labanc, Marcus Sorensen line. Those are the days.
Oh my God, what was that worse? That or the Hurdle?
That line was good. That third
Hurdle,
line was
Thornton, Melker, Carlson.
Ugh.
Remember when they just used to audition somebody on Pavelski and Thornton's wing?
Yeah.
It's Melker Carlson. James Shepard, I think, played up there a couple games. It's God, what is going on? Those are the
Speaking about Pavelski really quick. So I tweeted this. I don't know if you saw it, but because Joe Pavelski had a very, if we're calling Scott Reedy Joe Pavelski 2.0, and Joe Pavelski had a massive glow up. If you look at Joe Pavelski as a rookie, he's got the shaved head, looks kind of dorky. And then Joe Pavelski, by the time he left the Sharks, was a very good looking guy. Imagine the Scott Reedy glow up. If that's the base for Scott Reedy right now, it's going to be, there's too much. The world is not ready for the Scott Reedy glow up.
It's not. It's definitely
Back
not.
to real points.
Points per 60 for Labanc, 1.6. Then he went up to 2.1, then 2.9 in that sick year. And then he went down to 1.8, which, okay. Then he ticked it ever so slightly back up to 1.9 in the 55-game season. But then this year he was only at 1.3. And I think the problem is that we saw him go from the 56 points all the way down to 33. And when he only had 28 and 55, it wasn't like, okay, so are you the 56-point guy or not? So I think that's kind of like he was averaging almost 3 points per 60. And I think he makes $4 million. Like, I know it's not a lot, but like, you want to see
on
like
this when you need every dollar to be maximized because of how much money you're spending on your defense.
Retirement home situation,
the retirement home that's going on in the defense core. Like, you need these guys that you're spending, 3, 4, 5, these kind of middle class guys to kind of pull their weight. And that's the thing where I'm kind of a little worried about Barabanov too. Is like, if they pay Barabanov, is he going to kind of turn into a pumpkin, especially if next year if he's not playing with Hertl and Meyer, if you staple Eklund to Hertl's wing, and then Barabanov's playing with Couture and Dahlin or Couture and Labanc or something like that, is he going to still be able to produce at the same rate that you're like, oh, why are we paying Barabanov $4 million? I don't want to try to make this a Barabanov conversation, but this is these guys that you're paying this kind of middle class money to, they need to be worth this middle class money. So. And right now, Kevin Labanc,
upper lower middle class. Yeah. Let me just check on Barabanov here. What is Barabanov?
So he is currently at.
I got it.
Okay.
Points per 60. So he had 1.8 in 22 games with Toronto in San Jose last year.
The 9-game sample size.
He was 0.5 in 13 games with Toronto, and then he was 2.6 with San Jose in 9 games.
Yes, sample size.
But this year, he's already at 2.2 points per 60. Sorry, like he's at 36 points already in 57 games, and when you compare that to Labanc's 55-game season, where he only had 28 points, he has more points than Labanc had in the 70-point season. So really, if he can bust out 5 more points to get him to 41, he would have a better season than every season that Labanc has had, other than the 56-point season in 82 games.
Yeah.
Granted, Labanc was, how old was he when he did that? He was 23, and Barabanov is 27. Yeah. And I think that's the sticking point, because I don't know if he's going to be able to produce more than that 2.2. But I mean, you look at that right there.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Any final takeaways before we?
They're going to get slaughtered by Colorado tonight.
Yes. Well, no McKinnon.
No McKinnon. Okay. I mean, whenever you can fight a guy, because you're the superstar player on your team, and you can fight a guy, you got to take advantage of that opportunity. So, Do
we know how long he's out for?
No idea. So it's indefinitely right now. Yeah.
It's not like he plays for a team that notably can't get over the hump in the playoffs.
No, they've had best chance. Years of playoff success, just stacked on years of playoff success. So
recent, obviously, they have.
Yes.
Earlier,
not a good feeling. We'll get to see Kakkonen again tonight, so excited about that. I'm kind of interested to see. I don't think the line should change. I think the Sharks played really well. The Sharks played really well today, and they just had bad puck luck, and that happened. So I mean, that's one of those things where like they did everything you wanted, and they just made some dumb mistakes, and that's what happens, unfortunately. So
yep, shit happens. If you would like to talk to us on the internet, I don't know why my camera got so dark. You can do that Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Locked On Sharks. You can watch us on YouTube, Locked On Sharks. You can email us, lockedonsharks@gmail.com. Please don't. You can listen to us, Locked On Sharks, on Spotify, Amazon, Apple. You can go to JD's profile, which is my fry hole.
Kyle's profile is at Kyle Demetrius. Thank you guys for making us your first listen. Go listen to the Locked On Fantasy Hockey program, or if you want to check out the Locked On NHL Now, so you kind of get a nice taste of what happened last night in the NHL all around. So if you want to, see what else is going on out there, especially with the playoffs coming. You might be trying to pick a new team to root for during the playoffs. It's always fun to bandwagon a team. We haven't decided our bandwagon team. I think it's going to be the Panthers, though.
I don't really bandwagon, but I mean, Thornton Cup, and he's not on Toronto, so Panthers are fine.
Yeah, so we'll get there. And then, go check out and the other amazing podcasts on the Locked On Network, such as
Locked On Angels.
Bye, friends.
I'm drinking a kombucha.
I'm drinking water.
Kombucha has good things for your gut.